morning, rise and shine yoga time. I hope you're ready. My name's Jen and we're going to spend 45 minutes together doing a nice, gentle rise and shine session. And of course, as always, it can be a before bed session or a regular afternoon session. I'm all nice and comfy and cozy in my warm sweater as I usually am. I'm going to grab a block so I can sit on it nice and comfy cozy. But find what's comfy and cozy for you. Hopefully you have some sort of fluid near you so you can hydrate as needed. And we're going to spend about 2 minutes or so working on our breathing. We haven't done constant breathing for a little bit, so we're really going to work on that. Now you decide, do you want to do alternate nostril in through one nose, in through one nose, not through the other, using your fingertip to close off the other side? Are we doing deep ocean breath? We're going are you doing deep belly breath? Are you just doing a count for breath? What are you doing? You decide. But we're going to spend a few minutes here doing that. So pick your breath of choice, but as long as you're breathing, that's the big thing. Have a nice soft gaze towards something in the other part of the room, or just close your eyes altogether. Your choice, but we are starting now. Take 2 breaths, whatever you're doing. Take 2 more breaths just like that. And we're going to transfer on to our backs. Nice and slow, take your time. And we're going to worry about our pelvis right now. So your feet are on the ground, about hip distance apart. And just put your hands just like that on your belly. And we're going to tilt the pelvis, so we're going to tilt the hands, come back, and tilt the other way. Neutral. Tilt in, tilt out, neutral. Just doing this. Rocking it back and forth. One more. Beautiful. Bring those knees to one side, hands on the hips. Trying to keep both sets of shoulders on the ground to the best of your ability. Through the center to the other side. Come back through center. Now we're going to do that again, but I want you to make sure that when you're coming back, you're using your core to come back. So let's tilt to one side. Use that core to come on in. Since your hands are on your belly, you can feel that activation. Back to the second side. Come through the center, just side one. And we're not dropping those knees, we're doing it nice and slow. Up through the center into side two. If you would like to add on, we're going to lift those feet up off the ground. So come back to center. Bring those feet up. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring those knees to one side and then the other. So bring the knees to one side. Put those knees down nice and slowly. Come back up through center. And drop to the other side. I'd like you to keep those feet and those knees at the appropriate angle where you started and come back up. So I don't want you to drop them down here. We're active the whole time, unless you're purposely dropping them. And that's fine. If you decide to do so, that's great. Do your thing. But otherwise, we're keeping that activation. One side. Center. And the other side. You don't have to have those knees touch the ground if you don't want to. Center. One more time. Drop to side one. Center. And drop to side two. Starting out with some abs. To the center. Drop those feet. Somehow I migrated during that. All right. One leg straight, one leg bent. Grab below or above that knee. And just worry about some ankle rolls. And the other way. Bring that knee in, or bring that leg in a little bit more. And maybe can we reach a little bit higher? Let's bring the chin up a little bit. And relax it down. Other side, same thing. Let's straighten out that leg to the best of our ability. Grab above or below that knee. And let's move around that ankle. Always. And then can we reach a little bit higher? Pull in a little bit more. And then bring that chin up. And then release it down. All right, bring those arms out to the side into a big T. And then bend those elbows so you're in a cactus shape. Now that may be difficult for you, so straight to cactus. Hold it for a second. Straight and cactus. Play around a little bit here, see what feels good, see what feels painful. Can you get the shoulders and the elbows on the ground to touch? And then how close can you get the wrists to touch? And maybe you come out a little bit farther. If I have mine kind of more in a W shape, my wrist can touch the ground easy peasy. But when I bring them more towards a goalpost, they lift up a little bit. So where are you in this today? And just being here might be a stretch in itself. And if it's not a stretch, literally, can you adjust yourself so it is a little bit of a relaxing stretch? Now we're going to bring those hands palm down and bring those hands palms up. So back and forth. Keeping those elbows and the shoulders on the ground. And if you need to adjust, please do so. And the same as before when we were doing our legs, we're not like pushing or doing anything weird to get ourselves started or stopping. We are in control the whole time. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. And hold it for a couple more seconds. And then release. All right, cross one leg over the other. Let's start this leg. Let's do a nice little figure 4 stretch. So bringing the other foot in towards the hips. Placing your hand on the inside of this thigh and just getting a slight little push just to kind of get yourself as much into a figure 4 as possible. So you don't want to be here, you want to be more here. And let's point those toes up. So once you kind of get your position, you can let go of that hand from that leg, because we're going to grab onto the other leg. So we're going to bring our hands back behind the other leg, and you can either keep that leg bent, keep that leg straight if you want, head on the ground or head in the air. You decide, but I want those shoulders down regardless. And then slowly release it all. And switch to the other side. So the same thing, we're using that hand to kind of push a little bit if we need it. We have our toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to reach for that other thigh. Lifting it up, deciding how we want to place our head, our neck, our legs. And then slowly release down. And then turn onto your side, whatever side you want. All right, support your head with your arm, not like this. Nice neutral neck. Bring that arm up and then bring it back. So we have a good stretch all in that chest. Move around that wrist a little bit if you'd like. And then release, and we're just going to roll onto the other side. Whether you roll on your back, whether you roll on your stomach, that's up to you. We're going to do the same thing, we're just going to turn the other way. So relaxing that neck, arm up in the air, and bring it back, pec stretch. And release. Now we're all going to roll onto our bellies and come up into a tabletop. Chilly already, but just going to put it here for later. Okay, so we're here in tabletop, and we're just kind of shaking those hips a little back and forth. And now, if I'm looking in the monitor, my back is arched. We don't want that. I want flat back, so I'm changing myself. It's great if you have a mirror nearby that you can see these types of things, or you can see your reflection in the TV or something like that. Always use it to your advantage. All right, so I'm going to take my arm, I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to bring it through And bring that ear to the ground. Then I can take the hand that's on the ground, that's supporting by my face, and if I want, I can lift that straight up towards the sky too. If I want. Or I can put it back in a bind. And slowly we're gonna come on out by putting that hand back down and pushing yourself back through tabletop. All right, let's do the other side. Lift that arm up, bring it through. Bring that ear to the ground. And then decide, is this arm up? Is it in a bind? Where is it? And then bring that hand back down and slowly push yourself back up through tabletop. All right, let's get a little bit more of a glute stretch. So we're going to take one leg, bring it back behind. I'm gonna do my right leg first, but whatever. Calf stretch first. And then lift that foot, cross it behind my other leg and push back. Glute stretch on the opposite side. And release, come back. Other side, push back. Nice calf stretch. I did spin yesterday, so it feels nice to stretch out those calves. And lift it up and cross it back behind and push back. And release. Let's sit back on those heels. Sitting up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders back and down. And front and down. Whew. Chilly, chilly. Let's bring those hands behind and push those thighs forward. Shoulders are back and down. And release. All right, let's tuck one set of toes under and sit back. Now sitting back is going to depend on how far you feel like sitting back. Are you back farther, or you have support? What do you have? It's up to you. And then release. Let's do the other side. Release. All right, coming on up, fix your pants, tuck both sets of toes under, and then reach for those heels. Just leaning back a little bit. And then come on up. If that's too much, maybe you could put blocks here instead of being on your toes. Total an option. So we're going to do it again. I'll do the option with the blocks. So my toes, instead of being under, and I'm supporting that, maybe that's too much on my ankles, I'm going to put these blocks here. I'm going to keep my toes down, and I'm going to reach back. So I'm doing the same thing, just without the pressure on the ankles. And come on up. And we're going to do one more time, whatever way you decide. And we're just going to hold it a little bit longer. If you need to come out first, that's fine. Do your thing. Do your thing should be the subset of this class. So I want you to try to make sure that you have the weight amongst all your toes to the best of your ability. If you can't get the pinky toe, I understand. But try to get the weight equally distributed amongst those toes. And let's lean back and really push the chest forward. and slowly come on out. Wonderful. I'm going to turn sideways and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to bring bottoms of my feet to touch. Bring those knees out to the side and just do a little pivot, rotation, twist, turn, whatever feels good, pendulum. Bring one leg out, keep one leg in, keep it tucked. Up high, so we're at kind of a little bit of a diagonal. I don't want a diagonal at your ankle. So we're not like this, where our foot is straight and we're just kind of having that leg popped up a little bit. Hugging it in, leaning it forward. Just a little variation on our standard hamstring stretch. And come on up, and let's check out. So remember now, we're not bending at that ankle. So this would be something like if your hamstrings are super tight, adding in this little bit of an extra just lift, just maybe gives you a little bit more room to play. And release. All right, so we're gonna flip back around, and this leg's up behind you. We're gonna do one more thing before we stand up. We're gonna go into a little bit of a frog. So we're gonna bring those knees as wide as the mat, or wider. And we're just gonna kind of sit back. So I'm just gonna scooch myself a little bit down, and I'm gonna bring my hands to the ground. And my head's gonna be either up nice and high or down low, your choice. So I'm gonna depend on how far wide you get those knees. So let's see if I can get myself a little bit wider. There we go. And since one knee is outside the mat, I'm making sure the other knee is outside the mat too, just so we're on equal playing field, even if that means moving my mat. So I'm kind of folding it in a little bit, just so I have the height don't have any height difference between being on the mat and not. Even though we're talking like a quarter inch or so, a half an inch, I want to make sure that I'm as equal as possible. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to decide do I need to sit forward or back. I'm really feeling a stretch in those hips or inner thigh or both. And then when you're ready, coming back up to tabletop and nice and slowly bringing those knees in. Twist a little side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into downward dog. Just tuck those toes under, pedal them out as needed, and then find some stretch and stillness. And then let's walk those feet to meet the hands, or hands to meet the feet, wherever you are on your mat. And slowly, 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 roll it on up and come to mountain. This is a great time to grab a drink if you would like. We're gonna stay here for a couple seconds. Should have put a more form-fitting sweatshirt on so I could have just left it on so you could see what's happening. That's okay. big stretch over to the side. Bring the other arm just down towards that knee. Other side. Up and over. And again, switch. Make sure you're using your core here, not momentum. And the other way. And come back through center. All right, holding on for balance. If you need it, bring one knee up. We're gonna hold. I'm just gonna kick that leg out and come back in. Out and in. For 5. Ooh. 4. If you fall, get yourself situated and keep going. 3, 2, 1. Bring that foot down. Other side, bring that knee up. Kick out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that foot down. Other side, lift it up. We're going to kick it back, and we're going to come back in. We're going to kick it back and come back in. We have 5. We have 4, 3, 2, 1. For some reason, this one's easier for me. Drop that knee. Other side, lift it up. Kick it back and come on in. And kick it back and come on in. We have 5. We have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop that foot. Shake it out. And then bring those feet nice and wide. Hands on the hips. Leaning forward. Coming back up. Actually, more like that. Lean forward. Come back up. And lean it forward. And come back up. These toes face that way. These toes face this way. All right. And let's lean it on in. Good stretch in the inner thigh. Pelvis tucked under. Hands can be here. Hands can be here. You decide. As lean it back. And then come back to straight arms. Let's turn our body facing forward and bring those arms up. Now let's pivot on that back leg. Now if you can we take this back leg and bring it up to our front? If not, you can step it, small steps, that's fine. Otherwise, can you lift that leg, bring that knee up, and drop everything down. All right, let's try that on the other side. So we're gonna come back to our wide legs. We're gonna take this leg, we're gonna face this way. We're gonna take this leg, and we're gonna face this way. And we're gonna bend forward. Make a step back if you need to, give yourself space. Nice stretch, decide where you want your arms. And let's lean back. Arms back. As pivot everything to face forward. Pivot that back knee to face forward. Move his hands up. Let's try it on the side. We're going to lift that back leg, bring it in, and then have a nice high knee. So let's lift it up. high knee, and then drop it down. So we're gonna do that one more time on each side. So let's reset. Let's all face this way first. So let's lean in. Can we get a little bit deeper into the stretch this time? Can we make sure that our hands are in line with each other? We're not doing this or this. Look forward, look back. Are we in a nice line to the best of your knowledge? Let's come up and back. So this back arm is resting here, but it's not, you can release it. It's not holding on for dear life. Let's come back to warrior two arms. Let's turn and face forward with the arms. Turn and face forward with the toes. Warrior one arms. And then lift it up. High knee, and we're gonna hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it down. Reset. Other side. Lean on in. Arms out. Just lean it back. Let's come back to warrior two arms. Turn that upper body. Turn that lower body. Bring those arms up. And then ready to bring that knee and hold. Let's come up. And hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Lovely. Shake it out. I want you to just roll that foot a little forward, stretch out the top half of your foot, which you probably don't do very often. I'm going to do the other side. And then we're going to come down to a kneeling position. So let's bring those arms up, a little back bend if you'd like. Swan down, bend those knees generously into your hands hit the floor. And then bring one knee down and bring the other knee down. I'm going to face forward. You can be up nice and tall. You can grab a block and sit back, or you can sit back on your heels. Whatever seems good to you. If you want a little bit more core activation, I suggest to come up nice and tall because you are in control here. It's a little bit more of an active movement than a passive, but if you need passive right now, that's totally fine. No excuses needed or reasons needed, just do it. All right, so let's bring that arm around. Let's just do a couple shoulder stretches. And my hand is here. If I want to do a tiny little tug, I can. Otherwise, it's just hanging out. So this is what it looks like. The shoulder is back and down the whole time. All right, take that arm so it's here and just pivot it so it's here. So I'm moving that hand towards the shoulder blade. So I'm just doing this. If you want, if you can reach back behind and touch, awesome sauce. If not, don't worry. This is an option. And release it out, shake it out. And let's do the other side. So, here's my fingertips. Back and down. And this one should be back and down too. All right, and let's reach it towards that shoulder. So right here. And if we want to try to grab, oh, so close, I think. I may be completely, totally far off, but I'm trying. release, shake it out. Bring those arms in, give yourself a hug, bring those elbows up nice and high. Big breaths. And switch it out, other arm on top. And release. Now you can sit back on those heels if you weren't already. And we're going to bring those legs in front of you. And do a little bit of hip lifts. So I'm going to be pivoting on my heels. If that's too uncomfortable for you, you can bend your feet and be here. But I'm going to make my lever longer and pivot on my heels. My hands are going to be behind me. Now I can decide, are my fingertips away? Are they forward? Whatever is going to be most beneficial to you. I think I'm going to be a little bit out to the side, but we'll see, it might change. And we're going to push ourselves up. So we're in like a reverse slide position. So we're going to push ourselves up. And come on down. We're going to do that 9 more times. Nice and slow, holding for about a second or top. So if you need to have it here and kind of come up into a reverse tabletop, that's an option too. Are we ready for 9 more? Nice and slow. All right, let's come up. 1. And down. 2. And down. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 2 more. 8. This last one we're going to hold up. And breathe and hold, shoulders back and down, point those toes. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly come on down. Scoot yourself back. Hold on to those knees and rock it back and forth. Massage that spine. And then when you're ready, just hug those knees in. Do some circles from the hips. And subtraction. Put those feet down. Take one leg crossed over the other and bring those knees to one side. Hands can be on the hips or they can be in your cactus position. And then use that core. Pull that lower body up. Switch out. Over side. Come back to the center and set yourself up for Shavasana. Whatever is comfortable for you, whatever props you need. You better believe in putting my sweatshirt back on. And we're going to stay here for about 3 minutes together. So take your time, get yourself situated, and as always, you can stay longer than 3 minutes. Tongue to the roof of your mouth. I want you to go through your body. I want you to think about your neck and your shoulders and your tongue and your jaw. Is it relaxed? And then just move down your body, about your hands and your elbows and your wrists and your knees and your hips. All that stuff. Go through a little body scan. And relax all of those muscles. Just let them go. Wiggle those fingers and wiggle those toes. Bend one knee in, bend the other knee in, and drop them to the non-dominant side. So if you always drop them to the left, drop them to the right. And just do a little curl like a ball here. And then use that top arm to push yourself up to seated. However that looks like to you is totally fine. Wherever you are, drop those shoulders and let's just do a quick little neck roll down and around and up, and down and around and up, down and around and up, and down and around and up. Point that chin forward and up, tuck it in, point it down. Forward and out, and then in and down, and bring that chin up to neutral, and we are done with another Arise and Shine practice. Thank you for spending the last 45 minutes with me. I really appreciate your company, and as always, I'll see you another day. Bye.